Deus Ex is my favorite game of all time. Deus Ex Human Revolution is one of my favorite games of 2011. So when the announcement of Deus Ex Mankind Divided came in, I wonder what kind of deep, intriguing topics that the game would tackle. Would it go a lot more hard sci-fi, over the top with governmental conspiracy, gray alien, chupacabra, supercomputer taking over the world sort of thing? Or would it just go for a more grounded topics like ethics and morality of human augmentation? Well, Deus Ex Mankind Divided brought us the issue of superiority, abuse of power, and division among our kind. The year is 2029. Human augmentations have reached its peak glory, with more and more humans coming in to go above and beyond their normal capabilities. However, this has caused an unhealthy division between the normal and the augmented. Whatever side you choose, you'll be involved in the middle of a war between the same species, a mankind divided. Adam Jensen returns in this game to find out the absolute truth, the people behind the conspiracy and destruction. The Illuminati, maybe? What I want from Deus Ex Mankind Divided is to tackle more and more complicated topics that fits within the narrative context of the story, and the so-called mechanical apartheid is something that might be fitting for this time of the year. Unfortunately, this is where things get a little bit of downfall. Thanks to the politically correct climate of video game journalism, Mankind Divided is being hated by the press, all thanks to the term mechanical apartheid a year ago, and now Augs lives matter. Yep, this game gets hate for trying to tackle controversial topics, even though Deus Ex is all about controversial topics. I don't really get why these busybodies at the Moral Guardian Initiative have to go so far as to make sure that these video games are about as moral as possible, as if they have the rights to be the arbiter of morality. Watch Rock Paper Shotgun as he lecture you about morality and ethics of Deus Ex Mankind Divided's transhuman future?
Deus Ex lead identifies as male, but in all of those years as the owner of a partly robotic, highly customizable body, hasn't he ever thought twice? Is gender a matter of the body you inhabit anyway?
Now, I know what you're gonna say. Just because a game approaches tough topics doesn't make it free from criticism. Well, I think at this moment, we really need to make a distinction. The distinctions are constructive criticisms and destructive criticisms. Constructive criticisms usually highlights a particular flaw of a piece of art so that it can be done better in the future. It doesn't have to be art, it can be anything else, just constructive. Usually when you point out constructive criticisms, people will always get the idea of how to make it better. For example, the PC port of Saints Row 2 is a poorly optimized mess. People complain about the poor optimizations, and the developers learned their lesson and said, here, Saints Row 3, better PC port. SimCity's always online policy is freaking insane. Yeah, you know what guys, we saw they royally fucked it up. We're gonna take some notes from that and make an infinitely better game from it. That's the purpose of constructive criticisms. They're being said to make things better. Destructive criticisms are the kinds of criticisms that are just meaningless. They're being said, they're being directed to a particular piece of art, but it's just so different compared to constructive criticisms because you don't really know how to fix it unless you destroy the entire game. Bad PC port, okay, make a better PC port next time. Damaging DRM policies, okay, make sure that the DRM is better next time. A visual novel is sexist. Okay, how to make it not sexist? How would you make it not sexist? Well, since it's a visual novel that only pleases straight white males, I highly recommend you guys to destroy the fucking game. Seriously, where are the black people in here for God's sake? Destructive criticisms are the kinds of critiques that are being brought by people like Anita Sarkeesian. You see Anita criticizing things like the lack of female enemies in video games or the lack of exposure of Batman's ass. No, seriously.
For the purposes of this video, I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end, but it's as if his cape is a high-tech piece of Wayne Industries equipment designed to cover up his butt at all costs.
Okay, Anita, but I don't see how making Batman's ass to be more visible make the game better. I also don't see how reducing the presence of female's ass making the game better, or even vice versa. Well, we're speaking of asses, and both sexes like asses, so what Anita Sarkeesian just said here is less female asses is good. More male asses is also good.
Huh?
You know, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a personal advice. If you want your critique to sound more credible, replace Batman.
I tried to get a glimpse of Batman's rear end.
With Nightwing. At least that one can give a positive impact to nearby Fujoshis.
This emphasis on the butts of male characters communicates to players that this is what's important. This is what you should be paying attention to. It communicates that the character is a sexual object designed for players to look at and enjoy.
Oh, enjoying someone's butt is horrible, Anita? It's horrible! Girls! I know that you're bleeding out. I know that you're bleeding out that they're looking at asses, but you can't stare at Nightwing's ass, okay? Anita Sarkeesian says it's not okay. Anita Sarkeesian says it's bad. The point is, destructive criticisms are absolutely meaningless. It's being directed, it's being thrown into something, but you don't see how the critique brings a positive impact into the target. In fact, it only brings a negative impact, as it unnecessarily butchers a piece of work. For example, let me give a huge emphasis on this, deliberately manufactured gay conversion therapy outrage in Fire Emblem Fates. I just cannot, for the health of my own sanity, think in my dumbass monkey brains how this form of criticism contributes on the betterment of this game. The only thing that it does is that these people are triggered by gay topics being addressed into a video game, and they want to remove it entirely. And they did! Congratulations!
I hate all these damn rich people.
And finally, we have Deus Ex's mechanical Apartheid, which people kept on saying that it's horrendous, awful, because of mechanical Apartheid. But they don't really specify at which point it was awful. They don't even contribute to a solution in how to fix it. They just say that it's awful. Yeah, it's awful. So fucking what? You want a gold medal on pointing that out? It's problematic. It's horrendous. It's cultural appropriation. Said by the guy who said prejudice against white people can't be a serious thing. And guess what? He works at BioWEAr, with the most evil gaming company ever.
We are so doomed.
You know, I wonder why BioWEAr hires the most questionable of people to work for their game. This guy, this chick that says she doesn't like playing video games when she's writing for a video game, a game journalist. No, seriously? This chick?
When you can hear the person on the other end who's saying these things directly to you and they're saying them directly to you, that's a whole other level of harassment, really.
No, seriously, this chick! This chick gets work at BioWEAr! And then they went on to shut down their forums. It's not even the first time BioWEAr tried to censor things up. Seriously, BioWEAr. BioWEAR is worryingly starting to turn into a hug box. Now, this issue would have been just stupid kerfuffles being done by Tumblrites, but this actually has a huge impact. And I am fucking serious when I say that. There are game developers who are working hard on these games, who puts in time and effort to make sure that this game is as fantastic and as awesome as possible, and they got fucking booted off by these overly sensitive, whining babies that got significant power in the industry. Now, I have more than 5,000 subscribers. Huge thanks to all of you guys for contributing to this channel simply by watching my videos, leaving comments, subscribing to me, and even support me on Patreon. You guys absolutely rock. Also, absolutely wonderful thanks to my new patron, Eslar. You absolutely rock, buddy. And now that I got a fairly wide reach, I'm just gonna use this platform so that a voice that is not heard by anyone can be heard by everyone. And trust me, this is a voice that you need to hear, because this is some really fucking serious business, and only a few people have ever heard of this, which is a huge shame. Here's the comment from Giles Matouba, apologies for the mispronunciation, a former developer of Deus Ex Mankind Divided, who got booted off in 2014. His reach can only go as far as to Kotaku in Action and a few other sites, unfortunately, but I hope that with this video, everybody can listen to what he has to say. Here's what he has to say about this entire kerfuffle.
Until September 2014, I was the game director of Deus Ex Mankind Divided at Eidos Montreal. 3 years ago, André Vu, the brand director of the Deus Ex franchise, and I coined the term mechanical Apartheid. Thing is, I am black and French, and André is Asian and French. When we decided to go all in on delivering the experience to play as Adam Jensen, an augmented in a world aggressively segregating his own kind, we actually wanted to offer our audience something unique, something that was close and very personal to us, the experience of being torn between two worlds and two identities, Augs calling you the Uncle Tom of the non-Augs. Non-Augs always insecure when you're around, always deeply being scared or appalled by your mechanical body. Somehow, it was our own individual stories. We wanted to share a little part of our own life experience as visible minorities in a world of prejudices sometimes not well tailored for both of us. We also used the reference of South Africa, Israel, even Brazil, French, and American ghettos, and any country resorting to walls in order to segregate a part of their own population. We meant it. This was important to us to not half-ass these analogies because this is Deus Ex. Deus Ex is a very mature and thoughtful franchise that wants to hook gamers on essential questions and considerations: power, control, species, science, sociology, singularity, etc. Racism is a key, dark part of our human nature, and we wanted to treat this subject. It was especially important for me to treat this. So it makes me sad and angry that these ignorant people just assume that everybody behind this game is ill-spirited, stupid, and more importantly, for me, that they're all white. For them, game developers equals white. Gamers equals white. What these bloggers and tweeters did to me here is beyond mere insults. They have degraded me and have literally erased my identity as a black developer and as a black creator that just wanted to share a piece of himself with this game. I wish that they will feel bad about this. I wish they would have the decency to apologize of their gross false assumptions and accusations. To apologize to all the people in Quebec that have been working hard for years to make this game to happen. But since they have no spine, no shame, and no self-respect, they will simply ignore this post, once again denying my voice, legitimacy, and identity, and will at best move on to another AAA target to toss their freshly defecated shit at. They don't deserve anyone's attention. They don't deserve our industry, our games, and the dedication we put into them. They disgust me.